Well, hello, it wasn't that long ago I showed this ERTL toy. It's second hand, and I said it was a 1985 Thomas, and quite a few people contacted me saying, Leo, it can't be a 1985 Thomas because, well, it hasn't got a paper face. The early ERTL toys had paper faces. Well, I better show you where I get this date from. And here we are looking underneath the ERTL, and just at the end of those tweezers there, it says 1985. Very hard to see, it's very small writing. So that Thomas there is marked 1985. It doesn't mean it was made in 1985. It's the licensing details, and here is a Thomas with a different number underneath. Let's take a look. It's tricky business seeing these very small numbers. I have a suspicion the number at the end of the tweezers there says 2001. And what's interesting, here's a mint inbox Thomas ERTL. It does say 1985 underneath here, but sometimes the truth about when this was made can be found on the packaging. That's if it's still around. And on the back here, on some blah blah, I can see a copyright Brit Allcroft Thomas Limited, 1999. On many toys, you'll find little numbers on them, and quite often those numbers are related to batch numbers and times they are manufactured in the toy factory, and they're quite often in a secret code that I don't understand. So there you go. I don't know whether I've explained anything there or dug a deeper hole for myself. When I do look at the toys in those toy collection videos, I tend to look at the date which is stamped onto the toy. If I don't have the packaging, well, I can't really pinpoint a more precise date. So the big question is, how much is a Thomas & Friends ERTL toy worth? And I'm thinking about the most common style. These two that I have up on screen here, I wouldn't want to pay any more than $5 each. If you can pick this sort of model up for $1 or less, well, I think you're on a winner. A sad fact is, in antique stores where I live, very old and beaten up ERTL toys will fetch between $15 to $45. The very broken Thomas the Tank you can see there had a $15 price tag on it. That Station Porter, which was marked and chipped and in poor condition, had a $45 price tag on it. Antique stores are a real danger ground when it comes to ridiculous prices on these styles of toys, and it's really buyer beware in these places. Obviously, eBay is a great place to get a feel for what's available and what's in plentiful supply. My big warning with eBay is very simple. Be very careful of the shipping costs. For me, that often doubles the price of a purchase if I was going to buy on eBay, and that's a big reason why I don't use eBay. Because some people see me as a popular YouTuber around Thomas & Friends stuff, I see lots of people trying to spam the eBay auctions onto my content, and I mean lots. Seeing this activity has given me a great insight into those YouTubers who also sell through eBay. So often it really feels like the only reason why they're on YouTube is to push their auctions onto other people on the YouTube network. Obviously, I'm not in the business of promoting your eBay auction, and usually people don't spend the time trying to promote total strangers' auctions on eBay. I also know that in any collectible circles, there are those who like to control the marketplace by manufacturing the feel that an item is rare, antique, limited edition, sought after, or special in some way. My very simple advice when I see these terms used over and over is you steer clear of these styles of sellers. Often if you look at their selling history on eBay, you'll start to see that what they say is rare and sought after has been sold many times by them in the past. Always steer clear of older models which have been repainted to make look like they are new. And if something is sold as being mint in box, steer clear of the ones which have ripped card or broken plastic. The whole thing about buying something mint in box is generally to have something which really looks good in box. It's all about the condition of the cardboard and the condition of the plastic. Also be aware that there are some very clever people out there who can easily recreate the feel of a mint in box toy. And really, if you're buying stuff mint in box on eBay, it can be very dangerous. I really need to see that sort of stuff in person before I'm ever going to pass the cash over. Sorry for sounding tough here. Sure, there are some really nice people on eBay, but you have to be really careful because there are also plenty of sharks getting about as well. Let's look at some individual auctions. Here's an ERTL Boko. It looks in pretty good condition. $7.25, 1 day left on the auction, but the problem for me is the cost of the postage being $14.75. So the model cost and postage cost added together would be far too much to pay for this model. As for Devious Diesel here, well, it's a sort of model I wouldn't pay any more than $5 for, and again the problem is, look at the shipping. Nearly $50 to come to Australia. That's just totally outlandish to pay that much money for this model. Oh, here's a character I like. It's a bit of a niche character. There'll be some people who'd really want this. I sort of really want it. I don't have one. Well, what's curious about this one is, even though it's mint in box, if you type in Thomas the Tank ERTL Thumper, you'll actually notice there are quite a few people selling this in various conditions and also mint in box. And because there's a fair few in the marketplace, well, that's going to erode the price. Here's a curious one. It's a paper-faced Thomas. It looks like it's mint in box there. What's your thoughts on this one? How much would you pay for this? How much do you think it's worth? One question in my mind would be, how many more does this seller have? Does he have a box of 100 of these? Or is this his only one? I think there's one thing I've noticed is there's actually an abundance of Thomas ERTL stuff being thrown up onto eBay. A lot of it doesn't sell. You can see some people coming in for like the last minute discount, but a lot of the stuff attracts no bids. It's sort of funny, I remember eBay when it sort of first started off, and the whole idea of it was, well, you put something up for, say, $1, and you let it go to its natural market price. It seems that a lot of the people trying to flog this Thomas stuff never ever play that game. And probably the biggest advice of all when you're trying to buy this stuff is you've got to try and strip away your emotions. Once you get emotions caught up in this, that's when you start paying silly dollars for things that are only worth cents. It's really worth it just to stand back, take a good look around what's going on, find the good sellers, and stick to those people. So I hope that's some nice ERTL food for thought for you. I'm sure you've got your stories to tell me about the bargains that you've picked up, or maybe sometimes when you've been completely ripped off. Hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.